Djokovic is out, Murray is in doubt, and Rafa wants number one. Welcome to Roger's World, and welcome to Coffee Break Tennis. In today's show, we're going to ask, will Novak Djokovic ever be the same? Will Andy Murray be able to defend his number one ranking? And who wants it more, Roger or Rafa? Hit the music. Let's get into episode number 15 of Coffee Break Tennis. Here we go. That's good. So, the big news is that Novak Djokovic is out for the rest of the year. In fact, he announced on the same exact day that Roger announced on last year. So, he's kind of copying Roger. But the question is, will he be able to copy Roger and come back next year and win majors again? That's a big question. We're going to really dive into that in today's episode. That's the main focus of today's episode. So there's no denying that Djokovic is very fit, right? He set a new standard in men's tennis. He kind of led the way on that. We really haven't seen many people in tennis as fit and flexible as Novak Djokovic. He's going to come back well-rested, and he's going to be able to rehab everything that's bothering him in the body and focus on some things that he just hasn't had time to focus on playing full-time on the men's tennis tour. So while I don't deny that Novak is going to come back very fit and probably playing very well, I don't know if he will be able to hit peak form the way we saw Roger Federer come back in 2017 and hit peak form right away at the Australian Open. I don't know if we're going to see Novak do that in the 2018 Australian Open. And the reason is very simple. An Andy Murray, a Novak Djokovic, or a Rafa Nadal, when they hit peak form, when they play their very best, it's a lot different than what we see with Roger Federer at his very best. So it makes me think of an analogy in the NFL, right? So even if you don't understand NFL football, you don't need to really know much about it to get my analogy. So you've got the running back, right? This is basically a human bowling ball. A running back, a lot of them they're kind of shorter. They almost look like little turkeys to me because they're stacked. They're very muscular and very compact, low to the ground, right? They're kind of like a really beefed up David Ferrer. So these guys are basically human bowling balls. They advance the team's objective, moving the ball down the field to hopefully score points by, you give them the ball, they accelerate to top speed, and then they literally crunch into other people. They crash into other big, strong human beings and try to run them over while advancing the ball. And these guys, their career lifetime is kind of short. The body, it turns out, can't be a human bowling ball for very many years. Some of these guys have to retire in their early 20s, mid-20s, very frequently. Rarely do you see them get to the 30s. Then you have the quarterbacks. Now, don't get me wrong, some quarterbacks are going to do a lot of crunching and crashing and smashing as well, like a running back. But the really skilled quarterbacks, like a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady, they're more like Roger Federer. They use graceful footwork. They use an understanding of the game, being able to see connections and opportunities that other players don't sense, kind of the way Roger's so good at sensing when to transition into the net and finish points quickly and by using a lot less effort to finish the point, And so you see these guys saving themselves while advancing the goals of the team, the objective of the team, all at the same time, right? They're using the great footwork, and then they're getting rid of the ball, making these brilliant passes, advancing the team's objective while simultaneously getting out of the way of danger. That's how I think about Roger Federer. He's using this great tennis brain to see these opportunities, to finish points faster. He's got the graceful footwork, less wear and tear, and he's not relying on that relentless defense. It takes so much out of you to be on like that. I know, maybe a Murray or a Rafa is grinding a little harder than a Djokovic, but still, you think of Djokovic at his very best, what's he doing? He's sliding on a hard court, right? That's got to be rough on the body. When you think of Federer at his very best, what's he doing? He's hitting these graceful winners that really don't take a whole lot of physical beating. And there's not a lot of pounding on the ground to do a graceful move as you run around your backhand and hit a forehand winner. And often, Roger doesn't even have to crank it up to 100% effort. He doesn't have to try to muscle the ball as hard as he can. He just sets up with the beautiful feet, and a lot of times he can hit a winner at 70% because he's created an opportunity where he robbed his opponent of time or got his opponent out of position, and then he has an easy winner. It's not very taxing on the body. There's just this relentless grinding defense. That's a defining characteristic of Novak Djokovic at his best. And like I said, all these guys, Murray, Nadal, Djokovic, while they have this relentless defense, they can also play the pretty aggressive tennis, where they rob their opponents of time. They hit the cool drop shots, the great first serving to set themselves up for easy winners, to get easy holds on serve. They do a lot of that stuff too. But there's no denying, compared to Roger Federer, when you look at Novak and Andy Murray and Rafa Nadal, they rely a lot more on the relentless defense, right? The grind factor. They rely on that to achieve their biggest wins and to play their very best, much more than Roger. It's hard. It's much harder to rely on that kind of play and to reproduce it week after week, month after month, year after year. The body just can't always do that, much like the human bowling ball running backs in the NFL can't do it either. I think it's going to be harder to come back after whatever this entails. It looks like he's probably not going to need surgery, but whatever this layover includes for getting healthy again, coming back from that and getting back into that super intensity, relentless defense, win at all costs, no matter what mode, I think it's going to be harder to do. It's more to ask for than what we asked Roger to do when he came back and played his relaxed, beautiful, graceful style of play that everyone, there's no denying, much less taxing on the body. And for these same kind of reasons, that's why I don't think Murray's going to defend number one. It's a lot to ask for. First off, if he's going to stay number one, he's going to have to win almost every tournament left for the rest of the year, and we don't even know if Murray is healthy. In fact, a lot of people are wondering, are we going to get an announcement pretty soon that Andy Murray is going to take the rest of the year off or a couple months? So a lot of question marks out there, but one question mark we don't have to worry about, an easy answer, is who are the favorites? It's Roger and Rafa. They're running away with it right now. They are the clear 1 and 2. The question is, who's going to get to number one? I know sometimes in the media they play it down. Rafa and Roger both do. But make no mistake, these guys really care about it. So Nadal was recently interviewed on an Argentinian talk show called Con Amigos Así. And what he said here is interesting. It's true that we, Roger and I, are better prepared to compete for nice things at the end of the year, but it depends on what we're able to do from now until the end of the year. We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, this is a typical Rafa response. He's not really saying anything. It's a typical athlete's response. He's saying things without actually saying anything. It's like a politician almost. To me, this was a little more telling though. The person who will be able to keep his high level for a longer period of time will have more options to fight for the world #1 ranking. So again, it's really not a lot of substance there, but it lets us know that Rafa's definitely thinking about it, and he knows that there's an opportunity there for him, and he knows that he can seize it. He also knows it's going to be harder on him with all the hard court tournaments and the really fast, low-bouncing indoor tournaments that come after the U.S. Open. He knows that it's advantage Roger in most of these cases, but there's no denying there. He made it pretty obvious, even though he didn't give us a lot to work with in those quotes. Rafa is gunning for #1. Like I said at the beginning of the show, welcome to Roger's world. He's the overwhelming favorite at almost every tournament for the rest of the year, no matter where in the world he goes or what surface they're playing on, especially since we know there aren't going to be any more clay tournaments. But there is one threat, one question mark looming out there, and that's Rafa Nadal. And the question is he going to be able to stop the train, the FedEx, the FedExpress? Is it going to happen, or is Roger going to really catch up in that head-to-head and settle the score of who's the greatest of all time? I'm very excited about this, Fedheads, and one more piece of news I'm excited about, and I got to thank you guys because I couldn't have done it without your support, without all the views and comments and thumbs up. We got press passes at Cincinnati. CrunchTime Coaching and Coffee Break Tennis officially in with press passes to the Cincinnati Masters. So guys, keep on commenting, keep on watching, and clicking thumbs up, and let me know what kind of stuff do you want me to talk about. We've got some quick sips coming up this week, and I'd love to hit the top topics. Please comment below, and I will get on some of the best ones that I find right away. Also, let me know, what should I be doing in Cincinnati? This is my first time having a press pass to a big tournament like this, So if you have any tips or advice, please let me know. Send us a message, comment below. And also, who do you want me to track down at the tournament and talk to? Obviously, I'm going to be making an effort to get out there and talk to Roger. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. That's all the time we have today. I'm Matt Bradshaw for Coffee Break Tennis, the fastest growing tennis talk show on the internet in the world. And I will see you guys very soon in some quick sips. Comment below. Let me know what the hot topics on your mind are. See you guys.